Hello and welcome to another episode of Visceral Musings. My name is Cody Reed, and it is Wednesday. That means it is time for Season 2, Episode 4 of Visceral Musings. Today, my guest has entered my body forcefully and consensually several thousands of times. Her name is Allison Tippets, and she is one of the best tattoo artists in Arizona, as well as somebody who I am proud to call a friend. Today, we talked about her early artistic influences, we talked about some cartoons, and we even talked about the best and the worst tattoos that she's ever given. But more so than all of that, we talked about the album The Impossible Kid by our favorite rapper Aesop Rock, and the impact that this album has had on us through our late teen years into our early adulthood. And be sure to stick with us on through to the end of the episode to hear a brand new song from the Hostage Situation called The Last Leg. Alrighty folks, I got a banger of an episode planned for you, so I'm gonna stop yapping and get right to it. Let's boogie. Can you get your dick out of my face, please?
You cocksucker, dude.
So spread your cheeks and learn something new. He don't miss.
You don't miss. So cringy.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of Visceral Musings. My guest today has forcefully entered me and countless others. She's one of my favorite tattoo artists in the entire state and someone I've known for a very long time. It's Allison Tippets. How are you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Oh, man. Thank you for coming to my guest bedroom today. I feel like it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about it a couple times, and I've been nervous about it since we first, slightly mentioned it.
I thought about this earlier, that it was like, you know how when you have to go to the dentist and you start flossing and brushing like crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, I need to shave my arms. I need to get all lotioned up so the tattoos look good. I was gonna say I shaved for this, but I didn't. So it's close enough. But one of the first questions that I like to ask every single guest that I have on the podcast is, who are you and what do you do?
I am Allison Tippets, and I'm mainly a tattoo artist. I think that's pretty much it as far as right now in my life. Been an artist throughout my life, but yeah, mainly just a tattooer.
Just a tattooer.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it's very straight and to the point, but it's also such an understatement for all the shit that you've done as a tattoo artist.
I guess so. What do you mean?
Because you got to do conventions, and I don't know. I've always been fucking infatuated with the world of people that do art. Because I can't draw. It's one of the things that I've always wished that I know that to learn how to draw, you have to just draw.
Right.
But I don't have that in me. So
I feel like most people have it in them. It is just a matter of doing it. But it's funny because I feel the exact same about musicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've always wanted to learn how to play music. I cannot sing worth a damn. I've tried a couple instruments and it's just, I just can't do it.
I can't either. I'm not very good. I'm not even going to lie. I've written a lot of shit, but I'm not that good, quote unquote good. I don't know how to fucking do any of it. I don't read music. No one taught me how to do anything. I tried lessons, learned a couple scales, but there was nothing to it. I just learned a bunch of shit on my own, honestly. And then it just took, to learn. A lot of people say, can you teach me how to do guitar? You have to want to know how to do it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's case in point. I'm sure it's the same thing with learning how to tattoo or learning how to draw. You just have to want to do it and do it every fucking day, and then do it until you hate it, and then you just keep doing it for some reason.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain it to other people that don't do something like that. But luckily I've had the benefit lately of talking to people that are they do something. You tattoo, Russell does art, the Desert Rats guys do photography. They understand that I fucking hate it as much as I like it.
Right.
Yeah. So podcasting which I don't know. Podcasting's kind of a weird one, but because right now I still just enjoy it. Like I don't have to do this.
Sure.
It's just fun.
Right.
I have a good time doing it. I get to goof around with people that I don't talk to very much. Like that's good. Music, on the other hand, I fucking kill myself doing it.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. But how long have you been tattooing for?
So I never know how to answer this question.
Yeah.
Usually I'll just say 2 years. But that 2 years includes my apprenticeship. So if I'm taking the apprenticeship out of it, I've been like professionally tattooing outside of an apprenticeship for a little less than a year now.
And you've been doing, so you did the apprenticeship for a year before that, and then before that was just like living room?
Yeah. I don't really count that stuff because people, that'll label me a scratcher.
No,
and that's no good.
I remember the one time you came up to Sholo and we were all hanging out at your parents' house.
Yeah.
And you tattooed Ethan in the living room.
Yeah, it's a fucking horrible tattoo and he won't let me cover it.
Why?
Why?
Oh, because he's petty.
No, because he loves it.
Oh, he loves it? Okay,
loves
I
it.
didn't know if he was being petty about it.
And he loves that it doesn't look like it should have.
Who is it supposed to be? Because he's told me two different things. Is it Hunter S. Thompson?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But he told me it was Anthony Bourdain. And I was like, that's sick too.
Yeah, well, I think that night when we were doing it after we finished, it was either you or maybe it was Colton. Someone said, oh shit, sick Anthony Bourdain tattoo. And so he's just been running with that.
I don't think Colton knows who Anthony Bourdain is.
Yeah, you made that little joke and he's ran with it.
That's funny. Okay, so I did want to know, because I and there's a contrast to it. So and you can totally skip this question too. What's the worst experience you've ever had with a bad client? And I'll give you one that it's not a personal story, but somebody that I know had to tattoo really close to this guy's like groin area. And he was like up front, like, hey man, I don't want to see your dick. I don't want to but he's like, so you're going to have to keep your underwear, keep the hog at bay.
Right.
So he didn't. He apparently the man was very well endowed, and he would just he'd be talking and then just kind of let go of it and let it do its thing. And he was like, can you get your dick out of my face, please? Because I don't know if it'd be like that, but what are you able to say about a bad experience or the worst one?
Yeah. I haven't had anything like that. Nothing creepy or weird or uncomfortable to that degree.
That's good.
I think, I don't know, I've been super fucking lucky thus far. I think the only one I can think of is just clients that are maybe a little more picky or shit. That's pretty much it. Just fucking picky clients that maybe don't get it and are really, super, want to be super involved in the process.
Oh, gotcha.
I had one forever ago where this woman, super sweet lady, she wanted a really small tattoo though. And I was trying to explain to her the specifics of what I can and cannot do at a certain size. And at a point, I was getting the design together and she was over my shoulder looking at my iPad and having me zoom in on each line.
Oh shit.
And making the slightest micro adjustments on each line. And so that was just stressful because I was also still in my apprenticeship. I didn't really know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just situations like that, which is fucking nothing in comparison to what a lot of other people have dealt with. I don't really have that many horror stories.
That's good. I got tattooed. I only have a handful of them, but I got one on my leg, and I got it done by this guy in Washington. His name was Pat Wilson. Well, it might be just Patrick Wilson. I don't fucking remember, but I know it's Pat or Patrick Wilson, and he was I said, isn't that the drummer from Weezer's name? And he was like, yeah, we're on a break right now. I thought he was being serious, and I was like, holy shit. And he was like, I'm just fucking with you. I was like, oh. And then I realized that Pat Wilson's a fucking bald old guy. What is the most sentimental, or one of the most sentimental moments you've ever had while tattooing somebody? You've done a lot of family members, friends, so that's probably pretty special. Yeah,
I think that's always been a trip to me, and if I think about it for too long, it will start to fuck me up, so I have to push it aside.
Yeah.
My family's been super supportive, and they've let me do some garbage tattoos on them. And now my dad and stepmom will make day trips down to the valley to just get a tattoo and then go back up.
That's dope.
So super supportive. As far as just a stranger client encounter, I've done a couple memorial tattoos, for mothers. And, or there was one, where this woman had just lost her husband, and it was her first tattoo. And she wanted like a photorealistic rose with the petal and an initial and all that stuff. Terrifying tattoo. Luckily, it worked out well. And it's just those moments when you do something important for the client and they start getting like misty-eyed over it.
Yeah.
That always fucks me up.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm doing something permanent to commemorate something so huge.
Yeah.
And if I get that reaction, like that I nailed it, like that's just fucking everything.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy too, because like I've never done anything like that, but like the shit that you put on people is there. Mm-hmm. Like it's in there.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
And the better you get, the more it's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So I think about like certain times, because like I don't know, it's kind of hard to. It's like comparing apples to oranges, because I feel like whenever I talk about playing music or doing shows, I feel like such a fucking loser, because it's like it's not. I feel like it's not as cool, especially the older I get, where it's like, oh, you're like 27.
No,
and I'm like, yeah. It doesn't. It always like I feel like it loses its edge. But I do remember. I remember once, like being down here. So like obviously you were both from Sholo, so we know each other from there. But we were playing a show. This is before I lived down here. We're at the Nile at the Underground, and a kid came in and came up to our merch table. Never seen him in my life, and he was like, "Are you playing Winter tonight?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Are you playing Winter tonight?" And I was like, "We are now." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then I went up and I was like freaking out. I was like, "Dude, this kid, never seen him in my life." He comes up to the table and asks us if we're doing it. So we sat in the car and like did it. But I remember this one time years and years ago. It was like 2018. Have you ever been to the Underground, the Nile Underground?
Yeah.
So it's a shitty venue sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on the weather. It's great in like the wintertime, but in the summertime, it is just a dank basement. And when it's packed like body to body, it fucking sucks. So I remember one time we were playing this show, and my grandma came, and I saw her come down the stairs with her little purse. And like I remember like playing the show and like looking at, I would always just like kind of like, I usually do like a circle around the room, like I do like my own thing to stay centered while we're playing. And to make it look like I'm making like eye contact with people, because I have a really hard time with that. But I remember like just kind of like looking out and seeing her every single time. Like I did my little rotation. I was like, holy fuck, my grandma's here. And I'm up there making dick jokes and playing punk songs. She is there for it the whole time.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's the closest I can get to it. Like that, just seeing, I guess in some ways, you have to get through like a little bit of a process before you can get the gratification. For me, it's either instant gratification or instant letdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if somebody doesn't like the song or the joke or whatever, you can see it,
right?
And you're living it in real time.
That's
so
rough.
That's kind of scarier for you, that you're doing it, and then afterwards you like wipe it off. You're like, what do you think? Dude,
that fucking walk, like I'll be sitting in my station and I'll tell them to go look in the mirror, and that walk, just watching them come back from the mirror, it's terrifying every fucking day. Yeah, multiple times a day. Like it's rough.
Yeah. I remember one time we were doing you came and played a couple acoustic songs at your tattoo shop, and then you gave me a tattoo. You did like fucking a lot. Yeah. In that one day. So you got to relive your worst nightmare several times.
It was like 30 tattoos that day. I think it was a Friday the 13th.
Shit. Yeah, it was Friday the 13th. And I didn't have I need to get more Halloween songs down, because I didn't have shit for it. All right, let's talk influences, because you have a lot of love for cartoons. So I want to know like who or what it was that got you motivated to start drawing seriously. And now that we talked about this, I think we can actually kind of, all I wrote was hard contrast between just drawing, which you understand what I'm saying though. Like there's people, everybody draws. Like some people doodle, some people do whatever and whatever. But when you're seriously drawing, when it becomes like an actual interest that you're like pursuing, what was it that like got you to that point, do you think it was?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of fucked around with drawing for a while. Like my oldest sister is super talented. I remember being really young and watching her draw, and she did some impressive shit.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she could draw.
Like she used to have those like instructional drawing books, like how to draw a dragon and shit like that.
Oh, and she could do it?
I don't remember her drawing things from that. Oh. I'm sure she did, because I stole those books from her all the time. But one of the first drawings I remember seeing her finish that just fucking blew my mind was she had like just this book of desert animals, and there was like a rat or something, and she just wanted to draw it. So she drew this photorealistic rat, and it was fucking so perfect and like creepy how good it was.
Damn.
And she's always been really good at watercolor paintings.
You're talking about Ashlyn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to a level that I have never been able to hit.
Yeah.
So that was probably like my first piqued interest of, I want to do that too. I screwed around with it for a little bit, and I remember being young, like 8, and I was so frustrated because I couldn't draw something on my own. When I would try, it looked like shit, and so I would just trace stuff.
To you.
It was an 8-year-old's garbage drawings. And I remember I quit drawing for a little bit as like a kid because I was like, this fucking sucks.
You went on hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember picking it back up like seriously when I was probably like 12 or 13. And a lot of my drawings around that time were like really fucking dark.
Oh.
And it was before like I had any dark influences, but I've never been like an outwardly emotional person.
Oh, so you're drawing like internalized emotions.
Yeah, and they were like really fucking dark. Like I remember there was maybe 1 or 2 that I like showed my stepmom and sister, and they were like, "Allie, that's making me nauseous."
Nauseous?
Like just super fucking graphic shit.
Oh, gotcha.
And I remember like around that age, my stepmom would like that's when she started asking me if I was depressed, and I was like, "No, like I'm chill." And I was like, junior high, I was like on the cheer squad, like happy, peppy, and then I was drawing these like horrific things. So it was very strange, and it's not something I regularly revisit because I still have the sketchbook.
Oh, okay.
I don't revisit it. I thought about bringing it, but I was like,
That would have been cool.
I'll have to send you pictures of it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Okay. But so I kind of got into that and played around with that a little bit, and it wasn't until I found like Alex Party that kind of showed me that like creepy dark art is okay. And that was like the first like, oh, holy shit. Like I found this and now it makes sense. And I'm not a weirdo for drawing these freaky things in my sketchbook because this guy's doing it professionally. And
in like but he's doing it too, which actually, never mind. I'm getting to my next point anyway. Keep going.
Okay. So yeah, through finding Alex Party, that led me to like Dave Correa, Skinner.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Art of Skinner, whatever the fuck it's like his Twitter handle or whatever. When I first found Skinner, that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
There's some really, I didn't have anything that I could wear that like, because I don't have any of the like negative shirts that you did, but you did put me on to Crocodile Jackson.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have my Crocodile Jackson shirt on.
Yeah, he's killer.
Still one of my favorites. And I hadn't heard him at that point in time. We were just like, that one night I remember, I didn't drink at the time, but we were sitting at your parents' house going just like back and forth off of like basically just like rattling off as many artists as we could like fucking think about.
Yeah.
It's like I like this guy and this guy and this guy because I like weirder shit too, but I'm also real big into like I like when things are goofy and dark at the same time.
Right.
So like there's a guy named Baker's Dozen. He does a lot of really cool shit.
He's killer.
Yeah, Crocodile Jackson's one of my dudes. I basically love anything that makes me feel something like, and there's like weird like Meth Syndicate. He's one of my favorites too.
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, dude, he does like he's a graphic design artist who takes like he has like so he'll take like New Balance, like the New Balance logo, and he'll put like Nickelback to it, or he'll make like bumper stickers that are just like the fucking Costco hot dog, like $1.50 for a hot dog and a soda. So fucking good. He's amazing. But yeah, he's got some really funny shit. Like he has one that's like corn but with a C. Stupid shit. I love it so much. But yeah, I remember. I'm cutting you off too.
Oh no, you're
I don't
good.
mean to.
No.
I just get like I get like super passionate about this shit. I'm crying in my guest bedroom. But I did actually have some of the follow up to this was hold up. There we go. New microphones. We're workshopping shit. To kind of like go with what you were saying though. So something that you're able to do because you've done many acts of charity for me over the years, which is like it's always been fascinating to me. Like you're talking about. So Alex Party, Dave Correa, Skinner, even other people like, Ian Williams, there's like really, really famous ones that do like, they create the visuals to stuff like especially like Alex Party was really big with like album artwork. Like he did the Used, he's done Aesop Rock, he's done so many different. Who did Malibu Kin?
Oh, I don't know. I
can't
think I
remember who
knew at
that
a
is.
point, but that's another like
Weird
freaky one.
Yeah, I have. I'll bust it out later. I got the vinyl with the
Oh, hell
masks
yeah.
inside of it.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that one's really cool. But one thing that you're able to do that I'm really fascinated by, like, I've always been just like, I don't understand it. How do you put visuals to sound? Like you listen to something, you get this feeling for it, whether it's like, I mean, I'm sure you've done it with like movies or stuff that's inspired by or whatever. But like when you listen to like a podcast, because you did, shout out Allison, she did the artwork for the Visceral Musings stuff. But like when it's a band or it's something that you've listened to, because I've seen other things that you've done that were inspired by like albums you listen to. What is the process like? Like how do you see it in your head when you're putting like visuals to a different form of artwork that you can't see?
I think most of the time with that, it's mainly the lyricism. Like, I'll be listening to whatever it may be. I drew a lot of shit based off of Modest Mouse lyrics in the past and like a lot of Aesop Rock shit. And I'll be listening to something and one specific line will just jump out and be like, fuck, either I feel something because of that or like that's just a hard fucking line.
Yeah.
And then just like it kind of leads down this rabbit hole of like, that reminds me of this or that or that.
Right.
Or makes me feel this, which makes me think of that type of thing. And it's just kind of like a weird, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just like a...
I figured you wouldn't know how to put it to words, but I just wanted to understand it.
Yeah, I don't, it's fucking...
in such a weird way.
And I think like as far as... I think the color palette comes into play a lot with music too.
Okay, that's another thing that I was thinking is, do you see like a color or do you feel a color?
It's more feeling like... it's something like if a song feels a little gloomy or it brings up an emotion that's a little more gloomy, then I'll tie that in with like more blues and purples and shit like that. And then it's not like I have like this full rendered image in my head. A lot of it is just part of the process, and it starts with something small and then it fucking snowballs from there. And a lot of the color comes from, like I said, whatever emotion is evoked from that and what color I can assign that to. And then just fucking around with like what contrast I need and, you know, what colors play well together.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I can't think of his name now. Chris Sherry. Chris Sherry does a lot of, like punk rock artwork. Like he did The Descendants. He did All. He's done countless others. He designs like the tour shirts. He's created so many things. And I've always wondered like how the fuck you guys are able to, because I could lump you in with it, dude, for real. Because you've done a lot of, especially for me, like countless things that like no one else would have ever done. And like everything you've done, you usually nail it. Because I come to you with the stupidest fucking things. Like I was talking about the cat. I just see like like a cat with a long tail that's kind of crazy, and then it's like it's hairless sphinx. And then now we got like a logo for some shit. Like I gave you nothing to work with. Like I have such like vague ideas a lot of the time, and then you're able to come up with something out of it.
That's usually like the best circumstance, though.
Oh, really?
In my opinion, is like give me a little bit of parameter.
Yeah.
And then like let me do my shit.
And then every time you ask me for input, I'm like, dude, I trust you.
Which stresses me out. Like
really?
Oh fuck yeah, because I'm like, he's not being honest.
No, I am. I don't have anything to like. I have nothing to really add to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have like huge imposter syndrome, and it's a huge fucking deal for me. Like every tattoo I do is a big deal. Every time you've asked me to do artwork, I'm like, fuck. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I've somehow lied to Cody for enough years that he thinks I know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, you know what you're doing. I promise. There was so I just have it written up here. It says Mojo Jojo.
Uh-huh.
So back in the day, you used to just do like these like crazy cartoon versions of like other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mojo was a big one because I love the Powerpuff Girls. I always have. I hope I always do. But when you put out that Mojo sticker, I bought, I think 3 or 4 of them, and then every time one got fucked up, I put another one on the base.
Oh,
so
shit.
I had a Mojo on my base forever.
That's cool. I knew you had one. I didn't know you ordered multiple, like to
I had to come
be
back.
prepared for when they get fucked up.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
sick.
because I used to have an AFI one in a similar spot, and every time I would like scratch it up, I only had 2 of them, and then when it was done, I was like, "Fuck, that one's really cooked." But then I actually still have somewhere like when you were still, it was like zoinked. or maybe it was just maybe it was the one before that. I don't remember, but you sent like a little envelope with like a drawing.
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah, I kept it. I have it. I have it
fuck,
still.
dude, I forgot about that.
I was gonna bust it out, but we're in the I don't know. Our lease is almost up, so I don't know where all of my shit is right now. I do definitely have it though. I have your card still.
Yeah.
And this is funny because it's like the old shit. Like
I forgot that there was like
I'm an old head.
there was I forgot that there was like a moniker I went by before Zoinked.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
It was fucking
Blissful Insanity.
Yeah, dude.
There we go.
So cringy, but that was me for a minute.
Well, I mean, it worked out for you. That's actually the next question that I had was just what role has music played inspiration-wise for you as an artist? And then I just wrote down Modest Mouse, Prof, etc. It's mostly just the shoe in Modest Mouse and Prof.
Yeah.
I know because we're talking about Aesop Rock today, but I know that was one of the other ones that you kicked around was like Modest Mouse and Prof.
Modest Mouse was fucking huge. And when we were talking about like topics to discuss today, Modest Mouse was one I mentioned, but it's also one that's super emotionally charged for me.
Yeah.
I listened to Modest Mouse fucking constantly, like junior high, early high school.
That'll do it.
It fucked me up, dude. And also, like, even before that, like, growing up, my dad listened to Modest Mouse.
Yeah.
So being little, like, I remember hearing that shit play. And even when I go up to Sholo now, we'll be sitting on the porch and he'll throw on, like, a Modest Mouse playlist.
Yeah.
So it just reminds me of my dad in a lot of ways. And then it also just reminds me of, like, that time in my life when I was first, I think, kind of finding an art style. Yeah. And I think that was around that age is probably one of the first times I recognized, like, feeling heavy emotions and also feeling kind of lost in one way or another. And so Modest Mouse was like a huge safety net for me in a way. Like, it was just comforting. And a lot of their lyrics are something that I can heavily pull from. Just, you know, they'll have a line that sticks out and I can draw a fucking million things from their music. Prof is something I've just recently gotten into. Prof isn't really, his music isn't emotionally charged for me.
Oh, no?
And I haven't, no.
You never shed a tear?
I almost did when I listened to Heaven for the first time.
Oh, that one's a good one.
That one's fucking pretty.
The first Prof song I ever heard was, well, actually, real quick, because I had to make sure that I was going to get this right, that I wasn't thinking of the wrong album, but I don't know why. I'm second guessing myself, but Modest Mouse put out the Good News, the 20th anniversary of it. But I was trying to pull it up because there's like stuff that they added at the end.
I haven't listened to that one.
Oh man, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, just to go, well, I mean, like, I like it being remastered a little bit because like Joyce Manor did it too and they redid their self-titled album and stuff. Like it was cool, but it also like sometimes when you listen to an album like that, you're like, fucking hey, this is 20 years old.
Right.
And I remember when Float On came out. And like I remember when we were like listening because I was only like like 6 or 7. Or yeah, holy shit. Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 and like this was big and like people were listening to it all the time because this is like Block Party, Modest Mouse. There was also some like smaller bands that were like really big for like they were like kind of like flash in the pan type shit that was happening back in this time. But like Modest Mouse always reminds me of like certain friends that I used to have that I don't really have anymore.
Sure.
Or like it reminds me a lot of high school, and it also reminds me of just like because Isaac Brock writes in such a way that like, well, first off, he enunciates in a weird way.
Yeah. Which that's another thing that has always drawn me to the music is I really fuck with bands or musicians that aren't quote unquote good at singing.
He's weird.
That's my favorite shit.
He just sings so weird, and I've always loved it. And I think that's why it's what it is they're not approachable. And like I remember this when we went and watched Modest Mouse when they came to Flagstaff. Yep. And you guys were at the show. Yeah. And I was like, hey, holy shit. I was like, there's Allison. But yeah, dude, Modest Mouse has always been such a big one for me. I remember even like just being at that show and they didn't play Float On and people were pissed and I was like, that's kind of really fucking punk rock. Yeah. Like if you think about it, that's their biggest song and they're like, we don't want to play it. Right. And they just didn't.
We're over it.
Yeah, it's dope. But Prof, first Prof song I ever heard was Bar Breaker. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Aesop Rock produced it.
No way.
Yeah, he made the beat.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That song is so fucking funny.
So good.
Yeah, because he says, I'm not even going to do it, but he's like, finish a bottle and I'm good to go. No, you're all lame and I'm not even, whatever. Fall back, bit of deep. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, I love Prof. And then he got like canceled for a little bit,
Right.
and then he got dropped from Rhymesayers, and then he put out a bigger album, and dude, Squad Goals. He says, "You're just jealous because my bedroom sounds like it's a fucking women's tennis match."
Yep.
God damn it, that's so fucking good. Sometimes I hear shit and I'm just like frustrated. I'm like, God damn it, that was fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prof is the shit.
No, one of the artists at the shop I'm at, Ruben, he'll regularly take over like the speakers and just play his own shit. And he had played High Price Shoes multiple times. And I remember every time I was like, fuck, like this song is good.
It's good.
But I never stopped to ask him what the song was.
Oh, gotcha.
And there was one day where I woke up, and this was only like a couple months ago. I woke up and it was fucking stuck in my head. Mm-hmm. And all I could remember was yada da 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 do that dance. And how the fuck do you Google that?
Yeah.
So I was like trying to Google it frantically, like sleep still in my eyes. And
I do the same shit.
And then I fucking finally texted Ruben and was like, what's the song that says this? And then I finally found it on Google and I was so stoked. So I just started binging his shit.
Yeah.
And then maybe a week later, I was talking to my brother, Ethan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, I got to put you on. And he was like, I've listened to Prof for fucking years, Allie. And I was like, you cocksucker, dude. What the fuck? You're holding out all the cool music? Like, that sucks.
He's got some good taste.
He does.
He was one of the youngest people I ever met that was on that MF Doom wave. Because, like, he's talking about, like, food and shit. And I was like, aren't you, like, 16 years old? I was like, what the fuck? How did you find this shit? But now Ethan's the shit. He's like, one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have, like, a question and a half left. And then I'll let you take a break. And then we'll come back and talk about Aesop Rock.
Cool.
Okay, so Instagram. And I might be reaching with this one because sometimes my questions are based off of prior conversations.
Okay.
So there was a shift in your mentality and your approach that I have been inspired by that had to do with the number of Instagram followers that you used to have and how it played into your, like, I guess it's not like a self-image, but it is like a self-image. Like, and so, like, there was a shift in that mentality somehow. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, vaguely, just where, like, yeah, I do. Okay, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, when I first started drawing and decided I wanted to do something with it, put together an Instagram, and I got kind of caught up in, like, that marketing grind, I guess, that Instagram grind of, like, you have to put something out at least once a day. And engage and this, that, and the other, and your follower count is everything. And I was fucking obsessed. And because I really wanted to, like, break through. I didn't know what that meant, but I wanted something more with my art.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was just, like, shelling out bullshit drawings to get a daily post in. And it would stress me the fuck out trying to think of something creative to come up with. And at a point, it kind of robbed me of my creativity because I wasn't putting time or thought or, like, passion into the drawings that I was putting my name on. Yeah. And it was this really, like, disappointing thing to realize that I had kind of fallen into that, and I wasn't doing it for the right reasons anymore, for the same reasons. And it kind of made drawing a chore. It made it, like, fucking boring and just something I needed to check off every single day. Right. And it really fucking sucked till I recognized it and decided to stop doing that.
Yeah, and most people don't get because it's like, it's one of those necessary evils, I guess. Like, because the way that I always took it is, like, you were good at something and you cared about it, but you were looking at these numbers and, like, kind of basing not your self-worth, but, like, quality or, like, I guess, like, progress off of these, like, imaginary numbers. Right. Because at the end of the day, is this shit real? No, it is not. No. But, you know, it is a real person making the art. And if the art is inspired, then that comes across. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, I don't know what your, like, viewpoint is on that kind of stuff. I don't know how often you just do, like, straight up drawings or stuff like that anymore. But, like, I always feel like it's not always, like, the amount of people that I'm reaching. If I'm getting through to somebody who actually gives a fuck about it, right, I would take the one person versus 10.
Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah. I think that that's the only way you can look at it and approach it in order to keep that passion like intact.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, I don't think there's any other way to go about it. There's no like double dipping. I feel like there's no half and half. It's either you're doing it because you fucking care about it, or you're shelling shit out just because you're worried about how many followers you have and how your page looks aesthetically.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. It was a balance I've never been able to capture.
Well, and I mean, it looks like you kind of like found at least an audience that's building. And it like in like, I mean, progress is relative. It doesn't really fucking matter. At the end of the day, it really doesn't fucking matter. But I think about so we're gonna transition to something real quick. And so one of the things that we kind of talked about is you were doing different art styles of cartoons and stuff. And I love that the page has kind of shown your entire evolution as an artist. And I think there's a lot that you should be proud of. And but like, there's a series of quotes that I live my life by. And one of them is the first step to being sucking is the first step at being sort of good at something. Yep. That's like Jake the dog. Mm-hmm. And I know that you have like a deep affinity for the Pendleton Wards of the universe and the J.G. Quintells. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how did this like the cartoon influence like translate into? Because I mean, like even just looking at your arm, you have Marceline on your arm. Yeah. How did the love of cartoons like kind of translate into being like a serious big girl artist?
I think it kind of goes hand in hand with that realization when I found Alex Party and realizing like this shit can exist and like he's just fucking doing it and it's working for him somehow. Right. And it's kind of the same thing when it comes to cartoons like that. For a while, like I really wanted to learn how to animate just because it was that same thing. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I can't work computers very well at all.
Dude, are you looking at my setup? I can't either.
So I think it was kind of another one of those things where it's like, oh shit, this is like a story and these characters were made out of like a passion and a love and an excitement. Right. And they do it every day, like through the shitty days and the good days. Like they get to show up and be fucking titled on Adventure Time. Like that's so sick.
Right. I fucking love Adventure Time, but it is kind of funny too when you look at like the actual plot of Adventure Time is like two nuclear like there's a nuclear war that ended up with like it's like a nuclear holocaust that ended up with like deformed like candy and animals and they're all buddies and then like Finn is like the only human. It's actually pretty dark because the Mushroom War storyline is like fucking dark, but it's so goofy, right? And they have they have mathematical and algebraic and then you forget all about it because they're just a bunch of goofballs. But at the end of the day, I like that too, that there's like a creepy undertone to it that like it's intriguing in a way because like it's like when you meet somebody that's really funny and then they kind of like sneak some weird like depressing shit in the middle of their like Dimitri Martin does it a lot. Sure. So I've always been like intrigued by Dimitri Martin. Right. Because I'm like, this guy is so smart. I feel like there's something else that I want to know. And then he'll like, and if you watch any of his specials, he has some jokes about like crackers having holes in them. And then he has jokes about straight up fucking death. So like, I don't know why. Just the contrast has always held me. So like such a headlock.
I'm 100% with you on that. And I think, again, going back to Alex Party, that was one of the biggest things. I think he influenced like the physical aspect of my art too, not just the emotional, because his shit, when I first found it, was like super detailed and grotesque and these like crazy fucking monsters, but he used such bright colors, such vibrant color palettes. And that I fucking loved that.
It's approachable.
Exactly. And I think that kind of translates into like my appreciation for Adventure Time because it's like goofy and fun and it's a kid's cartoon. Exact opposite. Exactly. Yeah. But it's still fucking creepy. Yeah. When you dig into it. I love that dance, like that when people find that line and learn how to stray it just perfectly between creepy and unsettling and like cutesy and fun and approachable. Like I think that's some of the most impressive artwork you can create.
Yeah, because you have to know the rules to break them.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll wrap it up right here. We'll head over to the potty break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Aesop Rock, the Impossible Kid. Hello and welcome to another potty break. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Visceral Musings. And if you are, here's where I'm going to implore you to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're listening for free. That's exactly what I would do. Follow us on Instagram at Visceral Musings Pod. Follow me on Instagram at That Roller Pig. And I mean, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or wherever else, be sure to give us a follow there too. We're trying to grow this thing, and I can't do it by myself. Here at Visceral Musings, we believe in a short and simple philosophy, which is homies support homies. So if you are not following Allison Tippets on Instagram at Tippets Tattoos, that's Tippets Tattoos, then what the actual goddamn fuck are you doing? This is somebody who has an extensive portfolio and has every right to have a massive ego and still doesn't. Somebody who's as humble as they are talented. So anyway, let's get right back to this episode of Visceral Musings. All right. So, I work at a different place right now. This like really shitty version of like, because I work for, let's just say I work for a place that has a lot of different locations. So I was like stressed out yesterday. It was supposed to be my first day. And I left the fucking door open to the bathroom.
Oh, shit.
And I went to work with the door open. And then I didn't know that it was closed. So then my girlfriend comes home. She shut the door and was like, hey, you left the door open. And I was like, fuck, there's going to be bugs in here now. So I was stressing about that. I was like, there's bugs in the bedroom. That's all I can think about. Because I hate bugs. I hate spiders and I hate snakes. And I was like, in my mind, there's snakes and spiders in the bedroom. So then I forgot about it, went to sleep normally in the bed, and then got up I got up this morning, and I'm getting ready. So first off, I got a fucking pimple on my face. It's been killing me. For some reason, my eyes are bloodshot. I'm getting old. And I'm getting ready for work, and my girlfriend was like, can you come get this off my shirt? She's like, there's something on my shirt. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I think it's a scorpion. And I was like, all right. Okay. So I walked in there, and I looked at it, and it was a fucking leaf. And I was like, there's a leaf. And I pulled the shirt. It was a fucking scorpion, like curled up in its weird little scorpion ball thing that they do. Like when they scrunch up.
Yeah.
There's a fucking scorpion in the shirt, or on the shirt. So I had to get the scorpion off the shirt. So I took it outside. The wind was blowing. So every time I thought I had the scorpion where I could get the fucking thing off, the wind would blow it towards me. So I'm like jumping back with this fucking shirt blowing in the wind that has a scorpion on it. And we don't have scorpions in Sholo like that. Mm-mm. Not the ones that come into your fucking house and make themselves at home, at least. It's a fucking scorpion. Got it off the shirt by using a notebook. I had to like turn it and like hit it off the shirt. And then it just like fucking scariest thing I've ever seen. It like crawled into the crack of the sidewalk and disappeared. And I was like, that's wonderful that they can disappear like that because they're in my fucking house right now. Mm-hmm. That's all I've been able to think about all day. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Visceral Musings. That was the potty break. And now we're talking about Aesop Rock's album, The Impossible Kid, which, if I'm not wrong, it's like 2016, right? Mm-hmm. We're creeping up on 10 years of The Impossible Kid. So my first question that I like to ask every single guest that I have a topic with, why do you give such a shit about The Impossible Kid?
So this is the only question I knew for sure you were going to ask.
And might I add... You've been pretty I think you knew what to expect with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've listened to the episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking
all
cool.
of them.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah. I know the kind of.
You know the flow.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
Right. But you know all my tricks.
Exactly.
All right.
No, I was thinking about this on my way over here. Like, he's for sure going to ask me this. Like, what the fuck are you going to say? Like, just trying to prep.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing with this album specifically is that it gets me so fucking like excited. Mm-hmm. I'm just stoked on it. Like the lyricism, the beats to it, just the overall feel of the album is super exciting.
Right.
Like creatively.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Like I listen to it. Like there are very few bands that I listen to and I'm like, fuck, I wish I could play music.
And this is one of them?
It's kind of one of them, but I know I can't fucking rap.
I would love to hear you rap. I could throw something down and you could freestyle.
Maybe next episode?
Okay, yeah.
So no, I listen to Ace and just, again, mainly his lyricism and just the stories he tells, and it makes me want to do something, like create something, paint something, draw something.
And which is, it's an interesting, it's because, okay, so... when he writes certain songs or like certain, whatever moments in the albums, there are short stories in them. Mm-hmm. And they're not just like even when he it starts with Mystery Fish. And Mystery Fish as a fucking line doesn't really, like, as just a group of words, doesn't make that much sense. But then you listen to the song and he says, please don't question the mystery fish. Picture shrimp on a pillow of grits. Close your eyes, lick your lips. So then you kind of like, you get there. I love that kind of thing because I think about with like Deadpool. Deadpool does this thing, or the writers do it, where like Deadpool will walk into a room and write an X. And then like that's the first panel of the comic book and you're like, okay. Then the rest of the story arc plays out and you're like, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. And then the next thing you know, a body falls and lands on the X.
Oh, okay.
And then you're like, oh shit. So I kind of feel like that sometimes when I listen to Aesop Rock, because I'm like, he kind of sets you up like Dorks.
Right.
Dorks has a line in it where he talks about like maybe to sentimentalize is to be truly naive. I know some shit about your heroes that you wouldn't believe. There is, and it is entirely true, like things about this album that have played out in real life where you meet, like especially that line, meeting people that you're inspired by can sort of ruin it for you. And anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. My second question is, as an artist, how bad does the song Rings sting?
Oh, man.
Because it is such a specific and accurately detailed hell that he talks about. Right.
It's my favorite song on the album.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
God damn it. I hit it too soon.
I just fucking feel it. Like,
yeah.
There's one line specifically where he says, routine day with a dirt cheap brush, then the week goes by and it goes untouched, then 2, then 3, then a month, and for the rest of your life you beat yourself up. And every time I fucking listen to that, I'm like, fuck, goddamn. Like,
I thought about that too, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I wrote that down.
It hurts every fucking time.
Yeah, I wrote, this one hurts in such a special way. Because being creative or trying to make something is like torture in a way. But, man. So when the first, I was kind of talking to you about it a little bit off record, but when the first time I listened to this album, I remember throwing it on and then it starts with Mystery Fish and then it ends at like fucking Molecules and there was a blur where I was in like this weird fucking like, God damn it, I want to fucking do something now. Because like I heard it and it landed with me in such a way, and like what we were kind of, I wish I would have said this earlier, but like it's so much harder when you get older to find things that are going to impact you for the rest of your fucking life. And this is one of the, it probably sounds like I'm a fucking liar because every time I have somebody on, we're talking about things that mean so much to me. This is genuinely one of my favorite fucking albums. It's just a coincidence that you happen to like, you threw it out there and I was like, you know what? Hey, I could run with this one.
Right.
But one thing Ace has always done is use words like an instrument. And so it's been something that's been like instrumental for me in trying to become a better lyricist or somebody that says or writes something that's worth listening to for somebody else. And so he doesn't play guitar. He makes his beats and shit, or he has Blockhead do it or whatever. But so like a prime example of this, not from this album, is from None Shall Pass, where he says, flash that buttery gold jittery zeitgeist. That is a fucking guitar riff of words. And I think about it like that all the time. Whenever I think about like using words like this. So I have a couple examples. I have a list of like, I could not like write down everything for the album because like, okay, he writes pages and pages of lyrics. Every single one of these songs is a page front to back lyrics, at least, if not 2 or 3. And he's one of the biggest lyrical influences that I've ever had. I could pull shit out of my ass from Ace, like from every single album, something from every album.
Sure.
But he says, deep in a self-imposed Stockholm in Lima influx. God damn it. Deep in a self-imposed Stockholm and Lima influx. That is a fucking guitar riff. That's a pretty sick drum fill. With words.
Yeah.
And he does it in such a way that no one else has really been able to do it. But I was wondering, because you've said too, like that lyrics play like an instrumental role in you being able to like come up with something like a painting or a like an art to it. Is there like an Ace line from this album that's kind of like tickled your fancy?
Oh man. Well, first off, I want to say that I think you put that really well. Like, I've never really thought about that. Again, I don't have like a musically oriented brain, but I think you nailed it saying like his lyrics are like fucking riffs.
Yeah.
Like that's that makes perfect sense, and that was just a really cool way to put it. As far as his lyrics go, there's a couple, like the one I just said is like a huge one from Rings. Another one that I just fucking love is "Knowing ain't half the battle." That's a bullshit quip written by some asshole. That's another one of my favorites. I'm sure I know I have at least like one or two for each fucking song, but my mind's a little blank right now. I'm still nervous.
Because I'm putting you on the spot. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're good.
I kind of do it a little bit. I've noticed when I was listening back on Russell, when he was like, "Ooh, that's a loaded question." I was like, he's not wrong. I hope that at least it's a meaningful question.
Sure. No, absolutely.
I try to, most of the time when I write these interviews, I'm trying to write something in like a way that I'm like, what would I want if I was going to listen to an interview with Allison? What would I want them to ask her? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my fourth point, before I just kind of start riffing, is one of the most important things to me with this album is that it balances being a total goofball with being incredibly clever and intellectual, and also being dramatic and heartbreaking. And so I'm going to stay away from this point for a second, and then I'll get back to it, but Get Out the Car and Shrunk. Right.
So good.
And then Tough and Kirby. Those follow it.
Yeah.
So like Get Out the Car, Shrunk, Kirby, Tough.
Yep.
Like those follow the most heartbreaking songs on the album. And then like I don't know, the way that he's able to do that to me is it almost feels like unfair in a way, but one of my favorite things he does is also like sprinkling in horror elements. He says cholera in the well, or like warm wood in the cauldron, cholera in the well. And just like he kind of like sprinkles in these weird little. He does that a lot in this album and in Spirit World Field Guide. God fucking damn it! I cannot talk. Spirit World Field Guide, and it's just this weird little like nuance or like this weird thing you'd have to, because there's a lot of lyrics in Aesop's shit. You'd have to hone in on it to understand like what it is, and it has had me in a fucking chokehold for 10 years. Not even shitting you.
Yeah.
Because now, yeah.
No, he has like, I think in some ways Aesop can be really overwhelming. Because if you are the type of person, yes, if you are the type of person that like, I don't know, I listen and I hone in on the lyrics. I like the beats are sick and huge, but I am more tuned to anything I listen to. I'm listening to the lyrics, and Aesop is one of those things that like, I just feel like you can't fully fucking dissect.
Right.
You can't fully get down to the nitty gritty of it because there's so much in it, so many layers to every single song he does.
Right.
That like, I feel like oftentimes I'll listen to music and I'll wonder what a lyric means or like what a song means or what it's inspired by. And I feel like with Aesop, it's like a futile question to ask. Like there's no point because there's so much to it that...
Right.
I don't know. It's a strange, almost rabbit hole type thing, I feel like.
It is like when I look at like his body of work, it's not just albums. It's not just like the solo albums or like Hail Mary Mallon or anything like that. Because he's also an artist, and he does incredible artwork, especially like when he draws his friends. Like he does those like cool little like stringy looking. He's so good at sketching, and like he's talented in a fucking frustrating way where it's like, of course you can fucking, I bet he has a huge dick. I bet he draws really well. Of course he fucking does. But he has this line, and I fucking love it so much. And I was talking to my girlfriend in the car about it, and I'm sure she didn't fucking care that much. But I was like, he says, "Stay true like a wolf wearing wolf pants." Yeah. And I thought about that line a lot. I was like, God damn it, that's so fucking good. And I was like, because like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I was like, this is so fucking clever.
Yeah.
God Almighty, chip an ivory tower to piano keys. That's another good fucking riff that he wrote, but it's like it's words. It's a word riff that he does. And then I had a good example of him sprinkling in the horror element, or like it's just imagery. It's like horror imagery where he says, "Ice over bittersweet nightshade, antlers rise from his migraines." I fucking love that line.
Yeah.
The antlers rise from his migraine was a big one. But I'm going to get more specific now. So first off, is it Rabies that has Rob Sonic in it?
I think so.
Yeah, he ends the song with Rob Sonic. Love that. First off, because I fucking love Hail Mary Mallon. We were talking about it a little bit, but I'd heard None Shall Pass before. That's usually the one that people talk about, or like Bazooka Tooth or something like that. But my jump on point was also None Shall Pass. But when I got into Ace for real, it was Hail Mary Mallon, which is fucking hilarious, especially like Jonathan in Bestiary. That fucking just bliss out and wear rainbows or whatever the fuck she says in the beginning of that. I fucking love that line.
So good.
Such a good way to start the album. But in Water Tower, he has this sample in it where he says, "Don't be trying to come off for me because you ain't all that with your fucked up haircut." Every time I listen to that, I get so fucking amped up in a weird way. I'm like, how did you fucking hear that? And then throw it into this weird song about death.
Right.
Yeah. Is he saying paint or pee?
That's so funny. For the longest time, I thought it was pee.
Is it paint?
I assume it's paint. It could be pee, though. I've never like looked it up and confirmed.
You know what I think about when I hear that line is, like when you see, it's usually like Republican dudes, and it'll have like a kid peeing, and then it'll be like Biden.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That's what I always hear. I see that when I hear that line.
It's usually the fucking Walter and Hobbs character, isn't it?
I don't know what the fuck it is. Is that what it is?
I think so. I could be wrong.
You'd know better than I do, but yeah, I don't know. If you find it, because it's always like this kid peeing on shit, but I don't know why I picture that, or like 70s show or something, because they fall off the water tower and shit all the time. And in Water Tower he says, "I'm born from the guts of stars and black tar pits." Born from the guts of stars. I was like, God fucking damn you, dude. Of course you can write shit like that.
It's just fucking beautiful.
And I bet you have a big dick. You can skate better than me. You can draw better than me. I'm like, of course you fucking can. I do want to pivot a little bit. Okay. So there is a contrast in this album where like it starts off with like Mystery Fish and Dorks. Dorks was a big one for me.
I fucking love Dorks.
Dorks, I think, was the first song I heard from the album. I think that's probably where I really, really started to fuck with it because he performed it on TV with, and I think Rob Sonic was doing backup vocals, but he played it with a band.
Oh, shit.
And it was on like, it might have been like, maybe it was like fucking James Corden or something. I don't know, some late night TV show. And I remember seeing that and I was like, that song fucking kicks ass. Mm-hmm. So then I was like I was listening to it nonstop and we were talking about like to sentimentalize is to be truly naive. That fucking song was like instrumental for me. So then when I went through the album as an adult later on, I got to so I've had like, I'm not gonna dip the tone of the episode, but like I've had friends die, and like Camus Tao was one of the members of the Weathermen. He was Ace's best friend. He died of cancer, and so he references a lot. Like he says like cancer in your bestie. He says that, I think it's in Water Tower. It might be in Molecules, but I think he says it in Water Tower. And Get Out the Car is this weird, introspective, sad, melancholic, over like, and it's not very often that he uses just a straight up guitar and bass line,
right? For
the entire, at least like I've noticed that at least for his, like he sprinkles stuff in a lot. But Get Out the Car is such a special song to me because I listen to it and I feel it's like loss that I can relate to, even though I didn't lose this person, but I feel it in the loss of other people.
Sure. And
he says, gone from a happier Jack in the Box to a package of clogged up chakras. And then he says, not the ever after you wandered from the once upon a time, ... And every time I hear that line, I'm like, fuck me. Because it feels so specific to me, but I know it's not. It's like a very broad thing, but it feels so like it's my thing. In a weird way.
No, I see what you're saying. And I think that, I don't know. I think that is huge when a musician can speak on something personal to them in that way. And Aesop is very fucking specific. Like he's not generic lyricism. So he spells shit out. And the fact that he's able to do that, spell shit out in a song like that, and then you listen to it and you're like, I feel this too. Yeah. Like, I think that just speaks further to the level of emotion that he's able to tap into, as well as how fucking talented he is with his lyricism.
Yeah. I think he follows that up with Once Upon a Time, he was so much more than a punchline for his own pot shots.
Mm-hmm.
And go dark in the face of the fucked. When the fucked was a friend, I was basically done. And I think about that because it's such a specific kind of hurt.
Sure.
That and it's not often that you hear somebody convey that kind of like vulnerability in a way that they're kind of like explaining their absence as if they fucking needed to in the first place. But then he does, and he sums it up, and then it transitions into Shrunk. And when it goes to Shrunk, I love that he starts off with this whole like I'm very special, like, and then he's kind of like portraying himself like he's this anomaly. He's so many things culminated in one that you can't pinpoint it. Right. And then it's like, no, you're the fucking same.
Yeah,
I love that it just cuts him back down to size. And then my favorite line of that song is when he says, she says, I'm not your enemy. I said, that sounds like something that my enemy would say instead of playing out the chemistry.
Yeah.
She said, you're being difficult. I said, I'm being guarded. You're $250,000 in debt. I get more guidance from my barber. I fucking love that so much.
Yeah.
And then at the end of he like admits defeat. And she's like, will you be needing another appointment? Absolutely. I'm shrunk. Oh, God damn it. I fucking love that song.
So good.
So much. What did he say? Fucking instead of playing out the chemistry, there's another line. He says, every time my telephone buzzes, I see images of hooded riders setting fire to hundreds. She says, when you start being all expressive and symbolic, it's impossible to actualize an honest diagnostic.
Yeah.
I said, when you start being all exact and algebraic, I'm reminded it's a racket, not a rehabilitation. I'm glad that I wish I would have wrote it down so that I could remember it better.
No,
But
you nailed it.
I pull shit out of my ass, dude. I don't know. I wish it wasn't in there like it is, but it is. It's in there. And then it goes into, it's so fucking crazy for me, like to write, Get Out the Car, Shrunk, and then Kirby and Tough. Follow it right up.
Yeah.
Tough is one of my other favorites on the album.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because he does like there's a line in it where he says, out of breath like a 7-day-old balloon dog. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
I also think it's funny, like, going from Shrunk right to Kirby, because at one point in the song it says,
in case of emergency is in the daisies chasing birds or something like that.
There's another line in it where it talks about, it feels like it's like a therapy appointment or something, and it says, I can't remember the first half, but then it's like, I don't know, maybe get a cat.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Something
know.
about like meds not working or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny to follow that up right after Shrunk.
Yeah. That's
to, like,
a good
tie up like Kirby, like getting a cat is like your fucking antidepressant.
She got the Heroes of Tomorrow in a cardboard box.
Yep.
I love that. He says like swap 20 on the spot and copped a warlock. Mm-hmm. It's such a good fucking line. Because it's like, it's funny too, like when he talks about he's good at painting like a visual picture, and or like he's painting a picture with words, I guess is a better way of saying that. Of course, you paint a visual picture. What the fuck? All pictures are visual. God damn it. There's like he talks about like the woman with the cardboard box, and he says something about like, I feel like I can see it playing out, but it doesn't sound like he's getting a cat. It sounds like a fucking beast that he's getting. And I fucking love that. I love that he plays it that way.
Right.
So I'll get to my final thoughts, because I feel like I've kept you here forever.
No, you're good, dude.
I go off on tangents.
I'm enjoying it.
It's fun. This is fun. I'm glad we did this.
Me too. I appreciate you having me.
I wanted to have you from the get-go. You know what actually it is, while we're being honest and vulnerable. I was scared to ask other people to do it that I didn't have in my immediate life. Mm-hmm. Like I was going to have certain other people that were like that they were going to be crutches in a way where I was like, I can just fucking rely on this person.
Oh, I gotcha.
It wasn't always true. Mm-hmm. Like and so I was like, if I was trying to get somebody else that I respect, or somebody who's done something that I find to be like meaningful, I was scared about like myself being intriguing to them, for them wanting to like be present for the conversation. If that makes
interesting.
Sense.
I see what you're saying.
I had very little faith in myself.
God damn.
Well, I mean, as with most things, but like in the podcast thing, it was very. I've never been an interviewer before. Never really sat and like tried to talk to people. Never really. I mean, I've done it in my personal life, but usually it's just to make people laugh.
Right.
And a lot of the time when I come to like a thing, I have jokes ready to go.
Sure.
Don't always in like on the spot conversation. So it was scary, and it made me like less likely to reach out to people at first. But then I was like, I don't know, I kind of want to. I think that it would it'd play to my benefit to have people that I think might be more interesting to me having them on the podcast. And that's why it started that way. So that was why I was like, you know what, I think Allison would be really good. And I might be good enough now to make to hone in on it.
No, it's funny you say that too, because like calling back to the episode with Josh.
Yeah.
And you asked him like what he remembers of you from high school.
Oh, right.
And he just remembers you being very confident. Like you always knew who the fuck you were and what the fuck you were doing.
I think you knew me better than he did when I was in high school.
Yeah, but it's even still, I agree with that sentiment. And
That's
so
crazy.
It's funny hearing you like right now in this moment saying, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I was nervous to reach out to you or whoever else because
Really?
you do still hold that, I don't know, that characteristic where
That's
you
so
don't seem
crazy.
shaken ever.
I try not to.
You're good at it. You've mastered it.
I haven't been shaken today.
Yeah.
Except for that fucking scorpion from earlier. That kind of got me a little bit. I try not to I don't know. It's hard because I think I put other people, I hold people to a higher, not like a higher standard, but I view people as like above me all
Right.
the time. And then I'm like constantly feeling like I got to prove like I'm good to them.
Right.
Like that's kind of been my whole thing, especially with like season. It's not really a season, but like going forward, I've always just been like, I want to prove that I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, and I think that that's true for most people that are creative that actually like give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Most like, I don't know, I guess homegrown creatives.
Is that the dog?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it. I have a handicap Pomeranian. He's spinning in circles and screaming. he's screaming. Yeah, no, it is hard. It's really fucking difficult when you're like trying to prove that you're good at something.
Sure.
Because it just shifted a little bit, like from like at first I was like, I can do this, but then I was like, now I want to prove that I'm good at it.
Right.
And I don't know. It is. So I do appreciate that you and like, I mean, everybody who's been on has been fucking awesome. And so, but I'm appreciative that you came here.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for having me.
My final thoughts on the Impossible Kid. So the Impossible Kid is better than None Shall Pass.
Easy.
I'll say it. It's one of my favorite bodies of work to ever be created. And I'm not, like, a lot of the time I'm being emphatic. I don't think I'm reaching with that one to myself personally. But I hope that people realize that Ace is one of the greatest to ever fucking do it before something like MF Doom happens. Where MF Doom, he was dead for like months before anybody even knew. Which is so on brand. To die. And then no one knows. For like, it was like 3 or 4 months that nobody even knew this motherfucker was dead. And then it was like, oh shit, his death was a drop somehow. But I think about that a lot, and that Aesop Rock is one of the best ever. And I don't think I don't think I'm reaching with that at all. And I'm like, my knowledge of like the full scope of hip hop is kind of like general. But I do feel like he's one of the fucking best ever. He's one of the best lyricists. He's one of the best producers. He's somebody that I've taken countless cues from. And I wish that people would listen to his album the same way that I do sometimes. Like, it maybe not the whole way through. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but like, God damn it, if you really just honed in on like 1 or 2 things that he does, you'd be like, oh, fuck, no one does it better than fucking Aesop Rock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious, what are your final thoughts on Aesop Rock, the Impossible Kid?
I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said, and my understanding and like knowledge of the hip hop scene is even lesser. Like, I'm not super well versed in any of that, but Aesop just he kills it every fucking time.
He don't miss.
He don't miss.
That's true.
And like I said, tying back to, he just fucking makes me want to be creative. He's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Even though I don't create music, he's so fucking inspiring.
Right.
And I think it hurt a little bit when I saw that he did draw, because I was like, fuck. Like, like you have your thing, like fucking inspire me to do my thing, but don't fucking, come on, man. Like, settle down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet he has a big dick too.
Yeah, dude.
God damn it. Of course he does.
Yeah, but like even with his sketches, like I remember seeing his shit and being like, fuck, like I can't draw like that. I don't draw like that.
And he draws his friends like on a just from memory and shit. He's like, sketching at home, and it's a fucking like balls on accurate picture of somebody else. I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course you were just doodling at home and you can fucking pull this shit out of your ass.
No, so he's just fucking a talented dude.
Frustratingly talented dude.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, I've never met the guy. I don't know him outside of his music, but it seems like he's just very comforting in a way. I feel like I relate to a lot of the shit he says, and I feel like in a lot of ways he is probably in the same category of he's an artist, but maybe doesn't fully feel the depth of his talent in a way. Like just looking at his artwork, he just does basic sketches.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me to believe that he could fucking do a lot more with it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. Like, I don't know. There's something very like down to earth relatable about him.
Right.
That I really fuck with.
Yeah, I think too, he's really good at like, he puts his vulnerabilities on display or like his insecurities, especially in like Rings.
Yeah.
When he talks about like his sense of accomplishment or achievement from certain like you can't imagine the rush that ensue. Like he talks about like how good he feels about like whenever he's able to like convey a certain feeling or like a forearm starts foreshortening right. Shit like that. But he also talks about, I think, in that song about like the grind of like being observed. Like when you're being observed by a capable few or whatever like that. Whatever that fucking line is in that song. And there's goofier shit too. Like, I mean, a lot of years is a really good one. I think about that live performance he did. He like walks down the street and kind of like shows you he does like a thing where he walks down the street and he talks about like, he actually goes into the places he was talking about in the song.
Oh shit. Okay.
And so he goes to the juice place with the girl with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
And then he goes to like the guy with the tattoo on his neck with the lips. But yeah, it's fucking hilarious. He talks about Alex Party in that song too.
Okay.
He talks about the tattoo that Alex drew of the bats. Is he talking about Alex Party too when he's talking about the fucking the bobcat?
Oh, I've always wondered that.
Yeah.
I've always assumed so, but I'm not sure. I'd like to think that it is.
I'd have to do some digging on that. I do like to think that Ace and I would be friends.
I mean, again, I'm just going off of fucking internet personas here, but I feel like they would like vibe for sure.
It'd be cool.
And it's interesting too, like this is kind of off topic, but I mentioned earlier Dave Correa. Fucking love his work. And then Rob Sonic, who was the other half of Hail Mary Mallon. Dave Correa's done a lot of album cover work for Rob Sonic. And it's
that's true.
Interesting. Like I feel like there's a clear difference. Like I definitely feel like Ace and Alex Party would be friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rob Sonic and like Dave Correa have that relationship, but it's so interesting that like it's Alex and Dave and those are the boys,
right?
You know? And then it's Ace and Rob and they were the boys at least for Hail Mary Mallon, and just like that crossover is really interesting to me.
Hail Mary Mallon is so fucking good.
So fucking good.
I wish that it was like I wish that it was still like more of a thing. I liked hearing Rob in Integrated Tech Solutions.
Yeah.
I don't remember what song it is, but it's the fucking Stop This Crazy Thing. Yeah, that song kicks fucking ass. When Rob comes in on it, I got so bricked up. I was like, dude, what the fuck? His verse is so hard. And I was like, why these motherfuckers can't like just reconcile and put out another Hail Mary Mallon album? Like, so fucking good together. Yeah. All right, well, thank you for sitting here and talking shop with me. We got to cover so many things. I got to rattle off so many lyrics. I wish I would have so not very many people get to actually come in and see the process, but you can actually like see my notes. And that's always so nerve-wracking to me when people can see my notes.
Why?
Well, first off, you can see my handwriting.
I think you have good handwriting. I was going to bring it up earlier when you first showed me your notebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got I write in all caps. I've been told it looks like prescription handwriting.
That's how my dad writes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I even try to like, you can't see it, but like the desert rats. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's all just, it's all scribbled in there. But something I like to do with every single one of the guests that I have on my show is a top 3. So it can be music, TV shows, artists. It can be whatever you're into right now. What are your top 3, and why should we give a shit about them?
That's so fucking hard.
Is it intimidating because I closed the book?
I think that's adding to it for sure.
Yeah. It's a visual metaphor.
Yeah. There's so many fucking things. It's so hard. Fuck.
The guest last week, one of them, there was 2 of them. It was a threesome. He did, he picked ice cream flavors. I've been thinking about that still since. I'm like, God fucking damn it. That was so smart. Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm going to say, I think it's a Modest Mouse album. I think it's called The Crowded Lonesome West.
Yes.
I'm going to put that up there. And then I'm going to say a tattooer, Chris Garver. He's like one of the best in the world to do Japanese.
Where's he from?
I don't know where he's from. I think he's tattooing out of New York right now. Okay. But incredible. Like he has some fucking sick tutorials. Like someone I reference a lot. Someone my boss references a lot. Just fucking one of the best to be doing it. And then I don't know. I'll probably just say artistic skin design. Just the shop I'm at. That's, I'm very lucky to be there. It's my favorite place to be. I'm very lucky.
Yeah,
overall.
I will say that place made me really love the smell of ink. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think the last time that I was there, I've only gotten 2 tattoos from you, but I remember walking in there and just like it was raining outside, and I remember walking outside. It was raining. And there's a lot of that rain smell hit me, the Arizona rain smell, which I think is so specific. Mm-hmm. And then I walked inside, but you guys kept the door propped open because it smelled like rain outside. And then the smell of like the ink kind of like got burned into my head, and I feel like I can smell it now thinking about it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one of the things I think about the most when every time I've smelled tattoo ink, I think about that time. Which is, I don't know why I didn't think about that before, but yeah, that's a weird memory that's like burned into my head now.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I don't have a top 3. Sometimes I'll do both, where we'll do like a tandem. I don't really have much.
Nothing?
I mean, what am I into right now? I've been listening to, I don't listen to shit right now because I get burned out.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't listen to music a whole lot. Sometimes I'll go back and revisit shit. I got real big into, I like to watch ghost videos. I like to watch ghost videos online. There's a guy that I watch. His name's Nuke's Top 5.
Okay.
I love to watch. So whenever we have people over at the house, sometimes we'll turn it on. I like it. I like closing out my night with watching like ghost videos. So I'll go with my ghost guys. So there's Nuke's Top 5. So I'll give a shout out, Nuke's Top 5. He always says ghosts. He says ghosts. He doesn't say the T. He's like top 5 ghosts caught on camera. And then he'll always do this thing where he's like, "Did you see it?" I fucking love it. And he'll be like, "What happens next? Chilled her to her core." I love it so much. But there's another guy who's from Arizona. He calls himself Smithereens. Okay. And his thing right now is trying to prove that skinwalkers don't exist. So this motherfucker is insane. I don't know if you know what a skinwalker is. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard about it. Yeah. So he'll go to the fucking reservation in the middle of the fucking, like, literally the county lines. Like, he'll go out to the scary parts of the wilderness at night by himself with a fucking Aztec death whistle.
No way.
He'll blow the whistle. And then he'll yell like, "Skinwalker, skinwalker, skin." The motherfucker is crazy.
I feel like I've seen that guy.
He's insane. I think about that a lot too, where I'm like, if we don't hear from him one day, like, I'll know what happened. Right. The skinwalkers were real. But then there is, you know what? I don't have a full top 3, but my number 3 is the Middle Eastern people that are like the Middle Eastern videos that you see on Nuke's Top 5.
Okay.
Where they're clearly fake. They're always, and the Japanese ones too. The Japanese ones always have like a face of like a disembodied woman or some shit. It's so weird. Like they always have like, it's always the same shit where they'll walk past like a shower and you can see the woman's face like through the shower. I'm like, bull fucking shit. Or like the ones where they're in every single Japanese household that they're doing their like investigation, quote unquote investigation. Right. It's always a family committed suicide. I'm like, of fucking course they did. And it's so dumb, and I watch all 15 minutes of it every single time. All right, what are your socials? Where do we follow you? Where do we see more Allison Tippets?
Mainly Instagram at Tippets Tattoos.
At Tippets Tattoos.
Should I spell it?
Is it one T at the end?
Yeah.
Tippets.
Yep.
At Tippets Tattoos.
Yep.
Look at me. God
nailed
damn.
it.
I know. I'm on one tonight.
On fire, dude.
It's the drinks. That's what did it. Follow at Visceral Musings Pod on Instagram if you are old and you are listening to this. Go on Facebook if you want to take a break from finding out whose birthday it is. Just go in that weird little meta AI thing, click on it, and don't ask AI any questions because they're fucking scary. And then search Visceral Musings. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm just riffing. Good. I'm riffing. I'm trying new shit.
No, do it. It's fucking
leave a good 5-star review on Spotify. Visceral Musings is live everywhere now. I finally got around to pushing it out to more platforms.
Oh, hell yeah.
So you can find it everywhere. Wherever you stream, you can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on fucking Pornhub. You can find it everywhere. I'm everywhere. So spread your cheeks and learn something new. Thank you guys. Follow me on Instagram at thatrollerpig. We will see you next time. I don't have anything cool. Oh, actually, no. I'm lying. I have something amazing.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I do. Here to play us out is the Hostage Situation with their brand new song, Last Leg. And be sure to go check them out for their reunion show. So thank you. Also, shout out to Brandon Kellum for sending over this song for us to show. It comes out this Friday on all streaming platforms. So anyway, without further ado, here is the Hostage Situation with Last Leg.